players to opt for when they're going for the dot strategy. They're going to go for this Beastmaster, and when they hit tier 3, after they start building their Druids of the Talon, they are going to opt for that Tinker. You see that Wisp was there, and there comes the Tinker coming out. Now the reason for this is because all 3 of those heroes are actually melee heroes, and besides the Tinker, really, they all kind of make relatively good tanks to be up front. And even the Tinker just being up front is nice to have another target for him to shoot for. In addition to that, the Tinker and the Beastmaster also provide summons, which are going to add to the DPS in the form of the Quill Beast adding to the range DPS. That helps with focusing down individual units. And the Tinker goes for the Pocket Factory, which is going to provide these Clockwork Goblins, which don't do a lot of damage on their own, but you typically don't see them getting focused down. What they're there for is to just be more of a distraction, and you'll see, especially in this fight that we're going to be dropping down to half speed at the 10-minute and 30-second mark, that these little summons tend to be really annoying because, if a hero is wasting a full attack on one of those, or full 2 or 3 attacks even on a Clockwork Goblin, it's only 8 HP, only one attack probably. But it's going to, hurt his chances of doing the core DPS to the real units he wants to kill, which are those Druids of the Talon and the Archers and things like that. That's the same thing with targeting, the things of targeting decisions. You don't want to target a Demon Hunter with evasion, if you can at all help it. The best target in this case would be some of these Archers or the Druids of the Talon that were weak. And if he had to target down a hero, the Orc player would be targeting Soju's Tinker. So we've got this fight happening here. It is going to start a little bit. Again, watch the time, and at the 10-minute and 30-second mark, we'll just pause it, and then we'll drop it to half speed, and we'll give it a countdown. So we're at about 10:20 right now. Just go ahead and give you another 10 seconds to get that synced up. Just go ahead and sync it up to the 10-minute and 30-second mark. I'll do that as well, and then we'll unpause it here at the with half speed, so we can look at some micro decisions that are being made. Okay, pause at the 10-minute and 30-second mark. If you guys aren't there, see if you can go ahead and pause the audio commentary and then reload it up and get it to the 10-30 second. Just watch it at AX speed or something like that. But hopefully I've given you guys enough warning to pause it at the 10-minute, 30-second mark. Go ahead and drop the replay speed to 1/2 speed, and we're going to unpause it again in 5 seconds. So countdown: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unpause. Notice the first thing that both players did actually were start their casters off doing their moves. So the Spirit Link was cast by the Spirit Walkers, and we had some early Cyclones down by Soju's Druids of the Talon. Now, you notice the targets that he's cycloning up are either the Raiders or the heroes. Preferably, you want those heroes out because, like I said earlier, the Blade Master is the DPS of this. This is the real threat. And also, the threat being from the Tauren Chieftain going Shockwave. So if you can keep him Cyclone, and when he comes down, drop a Mana Burn on him, just like Soju's doing right now, that's going to prohibit that Tauren Chieftain from using those shockwaves. Notice again that both players are opting to go for Scrolls of Healing when they get them, and Scrolls of Healing are really essential for both of these races here. Basically, the Nido player uses it to counteract Shockwave on his Druids of the Talon, and the Orc uses it because he's using Shockwave to spread out because he's using Spirit Link to counteract the focus fire of the Druids of the Talon, focusing down on individual units. It basically spreads it out all amongst the other ones. Another reason Druids of the Talon are effective, really just to negate those grunts. Those grunts are going to go down with Druids of the Talon. They're heavy armor, so they're going to take extra damage from magic attacks, which those Druids of the Talon are doing. And not only that, their armor is going to be severely negated with the Fairy Fire. So Fairy Fire, very, very, really good counter to Orc. The thing when I was playing, or before I switched over to Human recently, and I was playing Orc, most Lido players were still doing the good old, Dryads and Bears and expanding and things like that, and that was kind of the cookie cutter. But this is pretty recent, so maybe Druids of the Talon are making a comeback, and if they are, I want to nip it in the butt right now and have all you Orc players out ready to tear the strategy a new one. Make them remember why Grunt Raider Spirit Walker is a really good counter to this. Obviously, if you can get your heroes kind of close together, your Tauren Chieftain and your Blade Master, if they're relatively close together, you can use one Disenchant to get rid of the Cyclone, which is nice. You notice that he isn't using Disenchant to counteract the effects of Fairy Fire just yet. The reason being for that, because Disenchant will also remove the Spirit Link, and in this case, he'd rather have Spirit Linked and Fairy Fire units rather than no units or no Spirit Link on their units at all, either. Ugh, that's hard to say. So looking at micro decisions, which is what I kind of wanted to watch here, you see that the Tauren Chieftain is basically sitting up in the front lines, and you see that even though the Nido player isn't targeting these peons, if you hold Alt, you can see a lot of an orange or red health, and that's due to the Spirit Link spreading out the damage to the focus fire from those Druids of the Talon that are focusing down individual raiders and even putting some pressure on individual heroes. So the Tauren Chieftain trying to get in the back there, but he's really slow moving, and that Endurance Aura does help. Endurance Aura, helps a little, but it's still a little bit of trouble here. So the problem with going melee heroes in this, and actually all these heroes here are actually melee, is you have to get around those or in this case for the orc player, those peons are kind of in the way for the Nido player to get to his back lines, which are his spirit walkers, and that's definitely a good target for the Nido to take out those spirit walkers, so they don't have to worry about disenchant, and then they can. They're usually a pretty easy target unless they're in ethereal form, because then only I believe mana burn would only hit them. So a lot of focus fire going down on this Blade Master. Is really close to dying here. A few more waves of the Druids of the Talon magic attack comes to hit him, but he is running back. We are going to get this synced up to the 12-minute and 30-second mark now, which I'm at 12:10 now. So go ahead and speed it up and get it paused at the 12-minute and 30-second mark, and we'll pause it again and get it paused, get it resumed again at the 1x speed. So I'll give you guys a second to do that, just so we can get this replay continued going on. We don't have to watch the whole thing at half speed. Again, 12 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we'll get this going on again. So 12 minutes 30. There we go for me. If you're not there, hopefully you can restart the replay. If not, sorry for this being a little bit annoying. I want you guys to be active at your computer, actively watching this replay and getting involved in the commentary. I look forward to your comments on these as well. So go ahead and leave your comments at the front page post at WCReplays.com. Tell me what you think about this matchup. Tell me what you think about my commentary, if I'm missing something, whatever like that. It's nice to know that you guys are actually paying enough attention to this to catch things that I might have missed during the commentary. Alright, so that should give you guys enough time to go ahead and get to 12-minute 30-second mark. I'm at the 1x speed right now, and I'm going to unpause it in 5 seconds. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alright, we're on pause, 1x speed, blah, 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 all that crazy stuff. You notice in that fight that Focus did a really good job of bringing back his lower hit point units, and he still has Fairy Fire on a good amount of his units now, which is basically, like I said, that early game. It's that kind of free map hack. The Night Elf player knows where the Orc player is at this point, especially since even if he hasn't just on 1 or 2 targets, even just one, he's realizing that that's a problem, and he immediately dispels that. So he moves out into the front there. You see Focus moved out into the front, and then he kind of looked like he was moving back before he dispelled it. So that kind of gives him a little bit of room. Good thing he dispelled it, or used Disenchant on that first before he started creeping this. However, Soju's got good instincts and is going to that camp anyway just to finish creeping it off. So this Ogre Magi goes down relatively quickly here with the Blade Master focusing down. He does get level 3, picks up the item and the ward there. That's a good idea to get that, so he doesn't have to worry about the Nido player getting it. But he's in really bad positioning and finishing off his camp. And that camp really wasn't that crucial other than for the experience of this. That camp, the ward at that camp obviously isn't in a very crucial location, and now he's got to deal with his heroes being cycloned in the back and having this army in the far back there. So you notice the Raiders aren't necessarily holding the front lines here. He still wants his heroes to do that, the Orc heroes to do that. He realizes he's in a really bad situation. He gets a last shockwave off of this Tauren Chieftain, but he gets mana burned and almost dies. Really close on that Tauren portal there. So it's a very exciting matchup, very close in both things, for both players actually. Hitting F11 right now, we can tell that both players are actually really close as far as food counts right now. Both around 53, just breaking into low upkeep. One's at 51, I think. And they don't have the expansions yet, so being into low upkeep just barely right now is a little bit of a problem here, because this is going to hurt their economy, especially when their gold mines. Oh, actually, the gold mines are good enough, so it's not as bad now. But just being barely into low upkeep is never a good idea. You generally want to be saving up your resources to do it, but you don't want to do that and sacrifice the fact that you won't have a big enough army size to beat your opponent. So both players kind of judged that, made a judgment call for this. Another player runs all the way into his base and targets Burrows. Burrows definitely a really good target when you're rushing into an Orc's base, especially at this point in the game when you're trying to end the game. If you could take out some Burrows, TP out, and then come back and take out some of his army, it's going to be harder for that Orc player to replenish